You ready? You got me running, got me running. Shake it, shake it, shake it, feel that. Raise your hands up, raise them up.
All right, good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Forex Trading Asia Daily Currency Call. This is episode 315, 18th of June, 11 a.m. here in Singapore, GMT +8. Okay, so this currency call, you will get market economic updates, key support resistance levels, trade ideas, and more. This currency call is going to be very beneficial to both the long-term investors and short-term traders. We'll be going through what could move prices, possible trade ideas, and also highlighting potential targets and risks. So a disclaimer here, any information shared during this session is not intended to be a trade recommendation. It is solely the opinion and views of the speaker. So please remember to do your own analysis prior to entering any trades. All right, so with the recent FOMC news resulting in a significant upward move in pairs like the US yen, US CAD, and US Swiss, I've got many inquiries from many traders learning in the Forex Trading Asia, on whether to trade the US Swiss. So there's something up with the US Swiss, which I will want to get Kim Hong here, a currency analyst at LCMS Traders, to share with us what he thinks about the Swiss franc. Kim Hong.
All right, thank you, Junwei. Okay, so yes, the Swiss franc. Okay, so yesterday first of all, yesterday the Swiss National Bank, they actually held interest rate unchanged at -0.75%. Okay, and they also revised their inflation upwards. Okay, nothing much I would say, because let me just show you this is the one over here. Yep. Okay, so this is the statement. Nothing much from the statement. It's just the usual stuff. But they actually did a revision upwards for the inflation expectation over here. So back in March, I cannot select the text. Okay, back in March, okay, for this year, 2021, they were expecting inflation to be 0.2%. Okay, however, in June, they actually revised up to 0.4%. Okay, so for 2022 and 2023, they revised up the projection as well. Now, you may think that this is actually a hawkish move by the central bank, but what Chairman Jordan actually said during his press conference, that the upwards revision of the inflation do not actually justify a change of course. Okay, as inflation remains low by international comparison, meaning globally speaking, Switzerland has pretty much one of the lowest inflation rate country. Okay, one of the country that has the lowest inflation rate. So this upwards revision doesn't actually cause much of a a hawkish move in the Swiss francs. Okay, now actually that's pretty much it for the Swiss National Bank. Just want to highlight this. So the thing is, I'm not sure if you guys, how many of you actually trade Swiss francs over here. Okay, so for those of you who are joining us, who are in the call right now, who have not actually taken the two-day course, okay, the two-day LCMS Traders course, you may be wondering, why is it that we don't really cover Swiss francs during our currency call? And for those who look at Gene's analysis, why is it that dollar francs is not something that he looks at? Okay, this is because, well, ever since Switzerland unpacked the Swiss francs from the euro back in 2015 Jan, okay, this led to a strong appreciation in the Swiss francs. Okay, so ever since then, we don't really look at francs. It's in a way, I would say, unreliable. Okay, unreliable in what sense? Okay, so as I mentioned, ever since they unpacked themselves from the euro, Swiss francs strengthened, making exports in Switzerland expensive. So what the central bank has been doing since then is that they actually intervene with the foreign exchange market. Okay, intervening in the foreign exchange market meaning they carry out policies or carry out actions that are not I would say publicly announced in order to weaken the francs. Okay, making exports in Switzerland cheaper. Okay, so this has been going on for years. Okay, and last year, I think it was in December. Okay, the US actually labeled Switzerland as a currency manipulator. So last year it was still during the Trump administration, right? So Donald Trump, the ex-president of the United States, as you guys know, is very loud and very, what do you call it? Very upfront with his comments, with his thoughts about anything, okay, literally anything. So nothing as usual, okay. As usual for the this whole Switzerland currency manipulation issue, Donald Trump was actually very loud about it. Okay, he tweets straight upfront saying that Switzerland is a currency manipulator and they should not let these things happen and sort of stuff like that. So they actually got into a bit of a tension with Switzerland last year. Okay, now fortunately, okay, the US I think they did not manage to have enough sufficient evidence to actually label Switzerland as a currency manipulator. Okay, so in April, I think it was April this year, the Treasury Department, Treasury Secretary, okay, the Treasury Secretary of the United States actually removed Switzerland from its currency manipulator list. Okay, so I would say tension has eased between the two countries for now. Okay, but in the statement, okay, the monetary policy statement released by the Swiss National Bank yesterday, Chairman Jordan continues to say that the central bank stands ready to intervene in forex market if necessary. Okay, so I think this may actually this may actually lead to more, I would say, tensions in the future. As of now, we are not sure. Okay, we will see how it goes. At least for the past few years, it has been the case. Okay, so with that now, so yeah, that's the main reason why we at LCMS traders don't really look at the Swiss francs that much. Okay, so yeah, I personally I do trade Swiss francs at times. Okay, now how do I trade Swiss francs? So for me, it's pretty straightforward. Okay, like the Japanese yen. Okay, the Swiss francs is also being treated as a safe haven currency, but we don't get the currency manipulation issue with the Bank of Japan. Okay, but we do have this issue with the Swiss National Bank. So personally, the way I trade it is I will treat Swiss francs as a safe haven currency, and I will look at my chart to see if there's any potential setup. Say, for example, okay, let's take the UK, the British pound, for example, pound francs. Okay, if let's say rewinding back to last year when Brexit has not ended, all right. If let's say there's a breaking news that says that unlikely the UK is going to come up with a deal with the European Union. Okay, now this will cause a strong weakening in pound. Okay, and of course people will flee to safe haven currencies like the USD, like the Swiss francs. Okay, so Swiss francs will strengthen against pound. So we may see probably like a few year, maybe like a 3 or 4 year low of pound francs. Okay, now eventually, things actually turn out to be better than expected. Okay, so the UK managed to come up with a deal, with a agreed deal with the European Union. So this is actually a strong reversal. Okay, a good news, a strong reversal for the pound francs. Now, like I said earlier, pound francs has been trading at a 3-year low. Okay, now that we actually have a strong good news from the UK. Okay, this will actually strengthen the pound. Now, strengthening the pound means that people will be risk on. Risk on meaning, they will not they will ditch the safe haven currencies like francs for more risky currencies like the pound. So we can actually expect pound francs to strengthen. Now, that is when I will look for buying opportunities. Okay, first reason, pound francs has been trading at a 3-year low, which is a very, very low level. All right. So this means that I'll be looking for a reversal, a potential reversal. Secondly, the news that UK has come up with a deal with the European Union is actually a strong fundamental reason for me to look to buy pound. So with this whole safe haven currency way of trading, I can actually look to buy pound francs. So this is one way how I trade the francs. Okay, so there are other ways as well. You may be looking at chart patterns, like head and shoulder, double top, and things like that, or maybe like key levels and stuff like that. But basically, the way I do it for Swiss francs is I treat it as a safe haven currency. So this means that I don't really pay much attention to the economic data releases from the Swiss francs. Okay, the GDP releases. Not saying that we should completely ignore the economic indicators from Switzerland. Okay, because the economic indicators released from the Switzerland, okay, will actually show how the country itself is doing, how the economic performance is, especially in times like the pandemic period right now. We want to know if Switzerland is doing well and eventually will make a comeback and hopefully increase interest rates and leave the negative realm as soon as possible, right? So yeah, that's pretty much I have to share for now. Oh, and by the way, I think the Bank of Japan, they are actually, I'm not sure if they have actually released the announcement. So they are actually scheduled to release the monetary policy announcement today, pretty much like coming soon, like in the next 2 minutes or so, or something like that. So as of now, they have not released it yet. So if you guys actually right now have a trade, have a yen trade, just make sure you just leave the call and supervise your trade. That's pretty much more important, okay, than what's going on right now. Okay. Anything else? If the Bank of Japan actually highlight anything or carry out any new actions or things like that, I'll update you guys again on Monday. All right. Okay. With that, I'll hand it back to Junwei.
Okay, thanks for that, Kim Hong. A very, I would say, brief history on the franc and a very comprehensive perspective on how to look at it. Okay, so now let's head to the charts. We'll have Scott here, Scott Andrews from Forex Briefcase Australia. Let's take a look at the dollar index first. Scott.
All right. Hi, everyone, and happy Friday as well. So US dollar, and we've really seen it make a significant breakout. And I put a video earlier this morning just in the trading floor chat, and I was just talking about what I was looking at and I guess what happened last night. We have seen this session a little bit of a slowdown on the index. We actually nearly got to 92. I think the high there was 91.97 that we got to last night. So, what we're really seeing is that, people that have been waiting for something to get in long on the US dollar, obviously a lot of people saw what Jerome Powell said, and obviously the economic projections that Kim Hong went through yesterday and also Wednesday as well were significant enough to really lift the dollar. And now, what I will mention though is when we have a look at the daily chart, we've seen previously that so earlier this year in March, we've been around here as well. And if I go to the weekly chart, we zoom in. Sometimes it helps to really go a little bit higher time frame. Some people might not ever use the weekly chart, but I think it's a little bit helpful. So we've got here coming up to 92 point here. We've got back in, so the candle there is the 11th of April. So we've been here before, and we've definitely been fluctuating. Obviously, we did make a breakout, and the recent highs of this year have been, as you can see, the recent high was 93.46, and that was in late March, on the 28th of March there. So we go back to the daily candle, and I talked about some potential thoughts on trade ideas and things like that. And I wanted to wait for the daily candle to close, and it did. And I call it pretty neutral. So we don't have a lot of news really today for the US. We did have, and I'll just quickly show that we had. I'll just dissect it a little bit now on the initial jobless claim. So we had 412 was the result, which was a little worse than expected. So it's a little contradictory though, because it's I guess viewed as insignificant, honestly, because a miss on jobless claims typically means that workforce participation is still down a little bit, but the revised figure was very much in line with expectations, a little less, but it looks like the main catalyst obviously was that FOMC meeting. So right now, I'm leaning on being long biased here. We've got a few currency pairs as well. USD CAD seems to be really coming to life now. So there's some opportunities here I see. But again, I just want to see what happens with this period now with a test of the 92, which pretty much happened. Now a neutral candle on the daily. So I think honestly, being more of a conservative approach to this situation, I want to wait to see how things play out to end the week, and then we'll come back and see how next week starts. But definitely long bias. I don't see this breaking out of 92 today. There's been a very significant 2 large candles print the last 2 days. The news was obviously it's been so dovish from the Federal Reserve and Jerome Powell. The commentary from him wasn't hawkish, but it was much less dovish, is how I sort of viewed it. So that is a difference from being very, very conservative in regards to the tapering talk. But I think honestly, really, we need a little bit more to see this pick up, and really, the traders that are long biased on the US dollar have, obviously probably going to take some profits as well, I see. So I see just floating around here. We'll need another catalyst coming into next week. We'll see. I mean, we've seen a breakout though. So the technicals tell me breakout. I'm long biased, but right now I'd like to see a little bit more of a pullback. I've got an intraday point here down in the 9160s. I'd like to see it just float around back down to that, and then see if we see a little bit of upward momentum to retest 92. So I see some downside today and just settling before a retest next week of 92.
All right, thanks for that, Scott, on the dollar index. So today's currency in focus is the Canadian dollar and cryptocurrencies. So I'm going to get Daniel here, trading coach at LCMS Traders, to give us the analysis on Canadian dollar and cryptocurrencies. Daniel.
Yes, thank you, Jinwei. So before we look at that, let's look at the markets right now, the calendar, and to see if there's anything that will move the market there. Okay, so let's take a look. Previously, of course, previous weeks we did see on the excuse me, where is that? We had the above. Here you go. You have the CPI data, coming in pretty good data shown together. CPI data month to month 0.5%. Core CPI data month to month 0.4, quite flattish, but it didn't move the market much because of FOMC news that came in. Of course, the USCAD didn't move too much here as well. Now we look forward. What do we look for? Today, I don't see anything except for the pound news on the retail sales coming in. We're going to look at this one. It's really interesting because there was supposed to be a gradual improvement itself. Retail sales was expected to grow. Of course, with the pandemic shutdown extended, it may affect the sentiments in this news or the core retail sales. Of course, as Kim Wong already mentioned, everybody's waiting for the Bank of Japan monetary policy statements, because this morning their CPI data was a surprise. It came out at 0.1% year on year. Month on month, it's doing pretty well actually. So looking at this, it was a growth instead of a negative previous month. So look, it was really a surprise, and it strengthened slightly for the yen dollar. So now that will be interesting to be looking at the Bank of Japan monetary policy statements. Then we'll look today, no CAD news until evening. New housing price index. Usually I don't see much of an impact due to this here. And then while we look at it, why we don't look at next week as well. Next week, Monday, not much things happening except for you have Aussie retail sales in the morning. Month on month expected to be flat at 1.1%. May not see too much of a news impact there unless it is a positive, much higher than the forecast and previous, something like a 1.8% or even 2%, then you'll see Aussie dollar to be strengthening, because overall Aussie has been improving. So we'll watch out for that. And then on Tuesday, Bank of Japan core CPI data. With that CPI data previously going up, it could be a positive number, but already the impact, as I mentioned already today. So we'll look at that. We'll look at existing home sales for US dollar. Looking at this US existing home sales, May is going to expect it to be slightly lower than previous. So the expectation would be quite flattish here. It will be almost likely, if it's my estimate is going to be quite similar to the forecast number. And then on Wednesdays, a couple of European manufacturing PMI index. So it'll be interesting to look at that. For Canadian, there will be core retail sales. Now, with these retail sales coming in, previous was 4.3 on month to month. Core retail sales now going to expect at 2.2%. But I think this is the forecast. It could be dropping a little, but if it's going to be expectation already, and if it's going to hold at 2.2, then or slightly above, it could strengthen the Canadian dollar slightly. But if it's going to be below, in this case, or don't even match, previous month it didn't match, even meet the forecast number, and if it's going to be lower than 2.2%, then you could expect really that the Canadian dollar could weaken against the US dollar, especially after such market sentiments of a strong US dollar over there. Okay, and then you have manufacturing PMI coming in at 60.2, not much better than the previous of 62.1, but we are looking at very good sentiments coming in right now, so I won't be surprised if it's going to meet or beat this forecast number. Okay, most importantly, I think next week is important is on Thursday. On Thursday, Bank of England is going to talk about their interest rate decisions, right? With the interest decisions, we're going to look at it. Expectation is no change at 0.1%. But as for all central banks, we are going to look, most importantly, we are going to look at whether they are going to look for any vote change. Previously they vote for no change at all. Is there anyone who's looking at very hawkishly and any changes to the votes to change the interest rates, or to possibly to increase? And the other one you should look for in their statements or their discussions in the votes is that will there be talking about any tapering, any bond decrease in their bond purchases, where we think that inflation is doing very well, the UK economy could be doing very well, just like what kind of statements coming out from the Feds, where we looked at, then you will probably be looking at pound strengthening. But more on that next week. We'll talk about more of this next week. Okay, then you can look at some news on the US GDP numbers coming in at 6.4%. You can see it is looking at an expansionary phase, looking still pretty good. So this GDP number, if anything better than this, then you probably see a further growth in the strength in the US dollar. If it's expected at 6.4, maybe slightly increase or stay flat. Okay, and then on Friday, not too much of a news, if I remember correctly. Then only we're looking at mostly the Michigan consumer sentiments, where it's still very bullish on bullish expectations from a lot of consumers' perspective. Okay, that's what's happening here. So now we're looking at the US news and also a lot of US news and the core retail sales coming in. With that, we should look at the charts right now, and today the focus is USCAD. Now with the US CAD coming in here, you could see that actually very, very nice. It has broken up strongly because of the very bullish Fed news coming in at FOMC, and resisted very nicely at the resistance level of 1.2384, this zone here. Now what will probably be going to happen is there probably be another consolidation. As you can see previously, every time it pushed up, there's some form of consolidation. It seems like a flag has a pattern has happened. I'm going to look for it, and looking right now, probably got some consolidation, slow moving downwards, coming down. Now with a possibility that maybe the retail sales of the US CAD not probably going to do well next week. Okay, maybe let's move it here like this. Next week here, then and probably good GDP, perhaps maybe a good GDP number, and a continuation of the market sentiment strengthening. And if it could move upwards, right? It could just continue to move upwards here. Now, looking at this here, I will probably be looking for a trade. I'll be only looking for trades if it breaks above the zone or my resistance zones of 1.2384. Looking at this one, I'll be looking for a breakout, but I don't think it will go all the way, possibly looking way up. Maybe if I zoom it out here, okay, I see this level here. So I will probably be looking at a quick trade, a good trade here. Looking at, if it breaks above, I'll go looking for maybe like almost 35 pips, 30 to 35 pips of stop loss, and maybe going for close to about 70 pips of take profit, almost 1:2 risk reward ratio. So break above my zone, maybe at 1.2415. I'll go for a 35 pips stop loss, maybe for a 70 pips take profit, 1:2 risk reward ratio for US CAD. And that's how I look at the market right now. Now, that's for the US CAD, and today is a Friday, so we'll be talking about the cryptocurrencies as well. So let me go straight into cryptocurrency here. Just this whole week, very interesting news. I mean, you heard about Elon Musk again. He talks every time he talks, he moves the Bitcoin market. He talks about if the Bitcoin miners and developers create a very eco-friendly mining system where it reduce the energy, he may allow Tesla to accept Bitcoin again. Now, this of course push the sentiments, thinking that there's something happening, and it will push slightly upwards. Let me zoom it in here. It pushed the Bitcoin upwards above the downward channel. Okay, it pushed up, but it still maintained below the 200 EMA. So it's still unable to push further up, and it continues, and it then continues to slide a little bit downwards here. Okay, what I'll be looking at is, I think it's so long as it continues below the 45,000 range and below the 200 EMA, I still have a bearish outlook for the Bitcoin. Right, so looking at the Bitcoin coming in, I think it's going to come back. This will be to me right now, seems to be a false breakout of this channel, downward channel coming down. It could come back down, and possibly if it breaks below this downward channel, it could come. I think it will continue to move down and move across. Okay, let me maybe more specifically here. I think it will be ranging across this level, still above the 30,000 range. Maybe you can see it's rejection at about 31,800 level, and maybe no higher than the 40. Same view as what I see yet last week. It's not. It is a false breakout, and between 40,200 and also at a 31,800 range. It's going to range across this week still, unless there's something positive news coming for the cryptocurrencies. Now, and if you look at the Ether right now, Ether, same thing. Look at this last week. I'm talking about the consolidation of Ether at 2489 or 2490 range level. It's going up and down in this triangle pattern here. Coming down, moving a triangle pattern, and it's still not moving out of this consolidation triangle pattern. I was mentioning that if must wait for the breakout, wait for two parts. If it goes upwards, go to a 3,339 resistance level before it goes all the way up. But this is the 2 steps. We have to wait for it to break out. Or if it does breaks downwards here, you could go all the way to the 2,000 range. Because right now, Ether is really being pushed by the sentiments of the Bitcoin or crypto as a whole. And of course, an interesting news you saw yesterday was on the, if you heard about the how to pronounce it, DEFI, the decentralized finance token coins, and they use Ether as one of the application as well. So so if you look at that, and yesterday there was a crash of one of the Iron Finance moving downward, so it did impact it does slightly here. I think could have a negative influence on the Ether coin as well, but we have to watch it out. So I'm still looking at this pattern right now. Let it break out. It seems to be breaking out right now, but the pattern in daily chart is never closed yet. It could still bounce up within the consolidation of the triangle. Wait for it. So as I said, this week I won't be giving a trade idea on the curve. We have to wait for it because a lot of the patterns right now is in consolidation phase. Let's wait patiently, breaks out before we take a trade. Okay, yeah, that's my view. So Jimmy.
Okay, thanks for that, Daniel. So many trade ideas shared today. So just a disclaimer here, any information shared during this session is not intended to be a trade recommendation. It's solely the opinion and views of the speakers. So please remember to do your own analysis prior to entering any trades. All right, so as we move into the weekend, I know many of you will be taking a break, not looking at the charts. I mean, the charts are not even moving in the weekend. But from our observation, the Traders Club community here is quite active in the weekend, asking questions and sharing trade ideas. So Daniel, can you share a little bit about the community in the Traders Club?
Yes, of course, Jidwei. Really happy to do so. So let me just share what the community is all about here. Okay, so you have here what we call the LCMS Traders Club platform. Here we have a big community here. With together the platform is really if anyone serious about being profitable in trading. Right here we host a community of traders sharing strategies, ideas, analysis, monitoring the market together, and it's almost really being a part of a professional trading firm. What we have here is the trading floor where we have a lot of discussions, as I mentioned, about sharing trade ideas. You could see everybody asking questions, answering. You also could see Scott coming in, giving some ideas and market conditions as well. What's happening, sharing a lot of communities moving in. And not only that, we have the markets watch here, where we actually every morning we have the daily currency watch list and also the markets watch list coming in, where the daily currency analysis gives you a summary of what happened yesterday and what could be looking out for suggested trade ideas. Lots of links coming in. You could go ahead and I read up and share and prepare for the day. And not only that, we have the currency watch list. You could see here, we have it really very nice, where you can see all the different currency pairs, what action to buy, sell, entry level, and the potential profit targets, right? So really very nice, interesting here. So not only this, we have a lot of features here. Economic news calendar, we talk about that. You've got the calculators, calendars here, and then you have the data flash, where we get all the news coming in. Where we saw that actually when the news released, it released here earlier than anyone else. So it's going to be very beneficial. And not only that, we not only have just this platform alone, we do coaching sessions. We have live coaching sessions twice a week. On Monday, we have the group coaching sessions where we actually look at the market, what's happened last week, give you everybody an analysis, discuss together on any questions about the fundamental news, what's going to happen this week, what could possibly happen, a discussion so a very clear view of a firm direction, and also maybe you look for the week, what could happen here in advance, even before the currency call in the morning. Right, so a real discussions here. And lastly, we have on Wednesdays a live trading sessions where a lot of people say that they have no time to trade. We actually trade, everybody come in together, trade together, and make profit. So it's really all these sessions are really to guide all the members here and the community to go through what's happened in market conditions and literally make profits together. So, if you're interested to join this here, there are many other features here as well. We have the signal analysis. We have a lot of education videos. A lot of this just to support the community in their forex trading. So anybody's interested in it, the link will be pasted up as well. The club membership for the club membership here, this platform is also available on the web, desktop, mobile application, which means you can get all your contents anywhere, receive mobile notifications if anything new updates. Go ahead and sign up. It's at www.tradersclub.com.sg. Sign up. It's really $49 a month. Okay, yeah. So that's what I will share for the community.
Okay, yeah, I pasted the link. It's tradersclub.lcms.com.sg. So just head over to the website and register, subscribe to it. All right, so we have come to the end of the session today. We'll see you guys on Monday for the Aussie and Kiwi session. Thank you so much and goodbye.